By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Commonwealth of Virginia and the United States, the Board of Trustees, the faculty, staff, and students of Shenandoah University, you are hereby awarded your honorary doctorate with all of its rights, honors, and privileges.
On behalf of all the students at Shenandoah University, congratulations. Now, I am delighted to invite the Prime Minister and our newest Shenandoah University alumnus to give his acceptance remarks.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Menteri Besar Selangor, kemudian Rektor, Dr. Tracy, Dr. Yaakob Mirza, professors dan rakan-rakan dari Universiti Shenandoah dan Universiti Islam Antarabangsa. Allow me first to express my profound appreciation to the university, particularly Yaakob and Tracy and the whole friends from Shenandoah for conferring me this honor. I not for sense of humility, but normally as a tradition, I try very hard to reject. But I have to respect that which first the center of Islamic contemporary world, the contemporary world, is there established long before I became Prime Minister. This award was not conferred upon me because I happen to be the Prime Minister of Malaysia. But for the work we do together, years, for decades, working towards promotion of freedom, human dignity, for Malaysians and mankind generally. Very ambitious proposition. But we come from a generation quite idealistic, very determined, with courage and conviction, and very clear tenacity of purpose. I therefore respectfully accept and or compelled to accept, but certainly in the larger spirit of collaboration or working together. You see, we're living today in the age where there's deficit in terms of trust, in terms of ethical values, in terms of respect for human dignity. We're living in an age contrary to the ideals of education that you teach at Shenandoah, or you teach here at the IIU, about values, about integrity, about human dignity. But you don't see this translated into national policies, be it politics or economics, dealing with atrocities, be it in Gaza or elsewhere in the world. So there is apparent contradiction between what has been pledged, the pious platitudes, the impressive pronouncements, and what we see in action. So that is why we need people like you, Tracy, and Yaakob, and the colleagues, Osman, to have that sense of conviction that we have to pursue this with full vigor, no compromise, and the hope given to the young generation, the students, that there is no alternative except to respect good values and human dignity. I happen to be now dealing with the issues of governance. And of course, between the ideal and the reality lies the shadow. to paraphrase Eliot, which means you have to deal with the stark problems and realities. We are dealing with the issues, leaders devoid of ideals and values and respect for human dignity. It is perplexing to realize that in these days of an age where there is such a high level of sophistication, of understanding, of exposure to what education entails, and still rising tide of fascism, of intolerance, of condoning all forms of corruption and exploitation. It's a French phrase, exploitation, harlom, parlom. We used that in the 70s. It's a strong battle cry about exploitation of man by man, although some women are involved. So, it is therefore our challenge in universities. It is important. We have here university in Virginia and in Gombak, Malaysia, where there's so much expression of disillusionment and despair. But we have a breed of those who believe that there's a future for all. United States, Malaysia, and the emerging economy, emerging countries need not have this sort of exchanges that's more rancorous based on distrust. We must make a difference that what we teach and what we learn is about human dignity and justice. And I believe this small initial effort from Shenandoah, IIU, and the universities here will give an impact, an immense influence to our students to strive for change. But beyond that, as an educationist, I would say that we must continue to strive for excellence. Education is not necessarily utilitarian. So there must be this balance between the need to enhance, or as you say, enhance, we say enhance, the quality of education and scholarship, to be able to grasp new disciplines, energy transition, AI, etc., but not losing sight of the essential values of justice, freedom, and human dignity. Wherever I teach, I always promote democracy, democratic values in its ideal form. What was brilliantly written, not by the American, but the French political scientist and traveler, Alexis de Tocqueville, in Democracy in America. We learn from the Jeffersonian ideals about the dignity of man. And we share this with Islamic values and sentiments. If we do so without prejudice, without hatred, we can learn from one another. So I thank you again, Tracy, and the team for having to travel all the way here. Because for the last 5 years, they've been pressuring me to go. And I must humbly apologize for my inability to, not to go there, but to accept that earlier. But I'm deeply touched by the sentiments you express and the fact that you can, travel all the way, to find this village hitman and confer him this exceptional award. So all the way from the United States. Well, I had wished that Aziza, my wife, would be here, but Osman did not invite her. But I'm sure my family would rejoice, my colleagues too, that you take all the time to travel thousands of miles to confer this honorable recognition to this village headman from Malaysia. So thank you again. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Now, I would like to invite Tracy back on stage for some closing remarks.